News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Brought to you by Squid Motors. Every vehicle you purchase from our showroom comes with a free 10-foot live squid in the trunk. Get even more than you bargained for at Squid Motors.
This is why the dealerships don't have any more inventory, Allan. Everybody's getting in on this, getting in on the squid action.
Well, I got a party coming up. I'm looking forward to one.
Absolutely. And welcome to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
I'm Allan Gilbreth with GeekySideTV.com.
And behind the glass, we got our good buddy Max, the producer. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and get in touch with us that way. And, stay in touch, join the Tool Talk Radio family. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't post the must-have item of the week. Allan, I better do that when we get to the commercial break. Anyway, boy, this is a jam-packed show, Allan. This is, okay, so if you live in the Memphis area, you're definitely going to want to check out the Vesta Home Show. That's going on till December 12th. It started last week, and that's a staple here in the city, Allan.
It is. That's an annual event that has been going on for a number of years. And let's just be blunt about it. It is the greatest place to go steal a great idea from.
Yeah. Bingo. That's what you do. You go there. You may not necessarily want to buy one of those homes, or maybe you can't buy one of those homes, but it's the perfect place to steal ideas. Well, on that vein, Allan, we have one of the decorators, Meredith Fernandez.
Ooh, yes.
She's dropping in. And one of the things that's funny, you know how these houses, they all give them a name.
Right.
It'll say like Berkshire Manor
right.
or the such and such, and it has some. Well, she designed one of the homes, and it's called Frizzy Friday.
Yes.
I already am a fan because I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm sure there's a story behind that. I hope she's gonna tell us about that. And the Vesta Home Show is a unique experience, I'm sure, from a designer's point of view. It's not your typical project, so we're going to find out all about that.
Well, every time we go, I find out there's something about a house that now I have to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had no idea I needed a pizza oven that bad.
So, but before we get to that, Max is bringing us another one of these deep cuts. He went back in history and pulled out something called the Baghdad Battery. That sounds like you and him are going to
yeah.
Because, Max is a big history guy. You're a big science guy, so it's kind of the two are going to coalesce. Allan, holiday furniture prep.
Oh, yes.
We'll see about that. I have some ideas about that myself. And well, anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but I really but the first thing I want to get to is your science segment, because you've got basically this is going to be Jurassic Park coming to your garden, coming to your big box store.
Exactly.
And it's going to be here soon. We've got the must-have item of the week. We've got a lot, so we better just quit our yakking and get to it. So it's all coming at you today on Tool Talk Radio. But before we get to any of that.
And now, Tool Talk Radio's weekly salute.
Sometimes the difference between success and failure is a matter of fine-tuning. If you're searching for the Memphis Tigers or Tennessee Titans game while you're driving your car, you won't be able to hear it without fine-tuning your radio dial to 98.9 FM. Okay, shameless plug out of the way, Allan.
Nice.
Any guitarist will tell you that regardless of how well you play, the music will sound terrible without fine-tuning your instrument before the performance. Professional baseball pitchers like Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs would never have become a World Series champion without continually fine-tuning his delivery. And, of course, no comment, Allan? Okay. And, of course, on a noteworthy occasion when Allan Gilbreth was 17 years old, lost at the bottom of Lake Michigan on board a homemade submarine, which Allan had constructed out of an abandoned Ford Etzel in order to find proof of his hypothesis that the Loch Ness Monster had recently migrated to the Great Lakes, Allan might never found his way back to shore without fine-tuning his navigation system, which eventually led him safely to the sands of Oak Street Beach in Chicago, where his amphibious vehicle was promptly impounded by an overzealous meter maid. They don't play games out there, Allan.
Even the pigeons are scary down there. That's all I got to say.
And when it comes to creating the perfect lighting in your home or business, fine-tuning is also essential. In the early years of light bulb technology, finding the balance between lighting that was not too bright and not too dim was difficult. But in the year 1959, a new device was invented to allow anyone to set their lighting to the exact luminescence they prefer. My friends, we give you the light dimmer switch. Or is
Yes,
it just the dimmer
indeed.
switch? Now, I don't know.
Well, now it's
Finally, the applause.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks,
yeah.
Max. So, whatever. It's a dimmer switch. We know
I
what a
have
dimmer
discovered
switch
you
is.
can use those on things other than lights, but
That it gets squirrely. That's something we
it
might
gets a
want to
little
talk
iffy.
about.
It gets a little iffy.
But
yep.
but Allan, I don't know why I thought this would have been an older invention. I'm thinking of like the theaters, like they bring the house lights down or something. Did they just kill the lights back before?
Well, what you did
dimmer
was
switch?
you had batteries and batteries and batteries of lights with different levels of baffles in front of them, and that is
okay.
why when you look at I'll pick a silly movie like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Everybody's seen that at some point or another.
Not
They've
me,
got all
thank-
the big
okay.
giant switches that they're throwing back and forth to change the lighting in the theater.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, hey, so real quick, it was invented in 1959 by Joel S. Spira, who founded the Lutron Electronics Company, and then in 1961, the inventor. It's too much information here. 1959 it changed everything though, because now you can walk into your dining room and it's like, it's too bright in here. We're having Thanksgiving dinner. Let's tone it down a little, and the light dimmer switch. Really, it changes the whole vibe of your house. So hats off to the light dimmer switch. Well, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Allan, I can't wait. When we come back, we've got to get to the science story, Jurassic Park in your garden.
Yes.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
This here paint is absolutely permanent. It will never come off. So if I see even one drop on anything but wall, I'll have your rear ends cut off and mounted over me fireplace. So have fun with the job.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yeah, that's that bipolar motivational technique, Allan. I'm not a fan. Sorry, Mr. Krabs. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Normally, Allan, I would say go up there and see the must-have item of the week. I'm going to post it at the bottom of the hour break. I just forgot. I got too enthralled actually listening to Motor Mouths this morning.
Oh, yeah. I was totally into Bud just discovered the raceways in the area.
Oh,
So he
and
was
the car
having
shows,
a blast.
Yeah. Bud and Ditch are really good. They're every week. Motor Mouth is a great way to start your Saturday and just keep the radio on all morning. So.
That is the perfect get a cup of coffee and sit down and listen in show.
Yeah, so Bud, it's your fault that I didn't post the must-have item of the week yet, but I will be doing it shortly. So, Allan, you know what else I would be doing shortly if I had a HVAC problem? Boy, was that a stupid sorry, Larry. I have really been stumbling over the segues. But anyway, Allan, if you have any HVAC problems, because it was, I'm not going to lie, it was a little nippy this morning. We had to fire up the heat. The air conditioning is probably going to take a break for a little while, but still, it's always a good idea to get it tuned up to know what you're dealing with and to be ready for the winter. And so if you've got any heating and air conditioning problems, or if you're not happy with the quality of air in your house, with the, they've got these great Remy Halo systems. They can clean the air in your home. And, of course, I'm talking about the good people at Brown Refrigeration, Heating, and Air Conditioning. They really do it all. And I like Larry's, they're very high-tech over there. They're always up on the latest technology, which is why I guess they've gotten into the smart home systems as well.
Well, and their techs are very friendly, very professional, and I got to say, when they get on site, it is time to get the job done.
One thing I've noticed, Allan, and it's probably one of the reasons we gravitate toward towards companies like this. You know how they talk about a company's culture, like there's a certain culture that's created in the office and in the way they train people and in the way they expect everybody to kind of represent and everything. And they've got a great culture at Brown Refrigeration, which is probably why they're so successful. So, and anyway, they're the best. We love Larry Brown. As I said, one day we are going to get Mrs. Brown to the show. We'll see though. I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe
you keep up that campaign, Joe.
Yeah, we invite you to flood their phone lines and insist that Mrs. Brown joins Larry on the show the next time he drops in. Give him a call at 901-362-1881 or go to their very easy to remember website, brownref.com. Well, Allan, when you brought this up, I was already thinking of what the ramifications of this is going to be. But you said basically they're bringing back some extinct plants. Because, I saw Jurassic Park, Allan. That was the first thing my mind went to. So, first of all, I guess I'm wondering how you do that. But
here we go.
Okay.
One, there are several companies out there that I want to applaud that have been doing a great job of preserving heirloom varieties.
I don't know what that means.
All right, an heirloom variety means just before we got into the big food production turnout of the last century.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, it was little quaint country gardens, and everybody had their own garden, and local areas all had their own variety of something. So they had their variety of a squash, or their variety of an apple, or their variety of a plum that grew in that area. And as shipping, and this is where I'm going to blame the railway, as shipping became more and more prevalent to food, the varieties that were less sturdy didn't really make the cut.
So, in other words, you grow a certain breed of apple, and it's great when you pick it off the tree immediately and get it to your table or just eat it that day. But it's not going to make a trip over to California from Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. So a lot of varieties have been kind of fading away and have been in danger of becoming extinct. So a number of companies have gotten really into this and said, no. We need this diversity. We need all of these different varieties. So now they're coming back, and we're starting to see a lot of heirloom seeds becoming available to the everyday gardener. So one of my favorites is the old yellow bell tomato. It's a cute little, grape-style tomato, but it's not something you're ever going to see a pile of them at your Kroger store. So it's just something I like to grow because I happen to like that variety. But we're going to take that a step further.
Okay, because I was about to say, Allan, I feel like you're another one of these false advertisements.
Nope, we're going to take it a step further.
That is not extinct. No, that might be
let's go to
in
extinct.
Danger. Yeah, I want it extinct.
All
That's
right,
what I'm talking about.
All right, so
I want the monster movie, Allan.
Hats off. We're preserving a lot of things to keeping them from going extinct. But let's go to a major player.
Okay.
Let's go to the Judean Palm.
The Judean Palm.
This is the palm tree of the Bible.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
They grew all around the area of Masada,
okay.
which has huge biblical, big biblical implications to Masada.
Okay.
The Masadans and the Romans did not get along.
Well, the Romans didn't get along with anybody in the Middle East. Yeah,
just kind of pointing a bit.
They took over all their countries and stuff.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And as a part of that, certain agricultures flourished and others failed. So the infamous Judean palm, the allegedly the greatest of all the date palms, perished.
Okay, so they grew dates on those.
I didn't know the date palm.
Oh, interesting. Because we have a fig tree, Allan, and it doesn't look anything like a palm. But
right.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, all right. The cool thing is, like Israel. Is now known for growing magnificent dates. However, in a weird sort of twist, the dates they grow in Israel are actually from trees in California, which were moved to California to save them from a plague in Morocco. So
that's how it is nowadays. I mean, that's one of the reasons here in the Mid-South we have kudzu, which originated in Japan.
Right.
Once you can travel, boy, you really mix things up. So. Okay.
So now in about 70 years ago, they were doing a lot of excavations in the Masada area, especially around the palace of Herod.
Okay.
And they found...
Which one? They were all creeps.
Well, Herod the Great.
Okay.
The one they called the Great.
Yeah.
They found a jar of dried Judean dates.
Now we're talking. Okay, because I was waiting for the Jurassic Park
All right,
connection.
here it is. So here's a jar of dried dates, the true original Judean palm.
Okay.
So now
there's
we're going to fast forward 40 years because these things sat in that jar in the museum, carbon dated. We know they're from back then. We know it's the Judean date palm, but it's a 2,000-year-old piece of fruit.
Okay. Can I make a prediction, Allan? Are there seeds inside of a date?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm thinking that's where it is, right? You don't get it from the pulpy part of it.
Right.
I mean,
you are exactly correct.
Okay.
So in 2005, a lovely lady by the name of Dr. Sarah Salin got with a buddy of hers named Dr. Elaine Soloway from the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies, and they had this wild idea. Let's grow it.
Sure.
How do you grow a 2,000-year-old seed? Well, happily, Dr. Soloway came up with a method of rehydrating the seeds without killing them, slowly over
like an
time.
IV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they actually got one to sprout. And so,
well, I mean, if they can, if Matt Damon can grow potatoes on Mars in soil that doesn't even,
this is 2,000 years though. This isn't like a potato sitting in the fridge,
right?
So they get one to grow. They actually get one going, and they nicknamed him Methuselah. and he is a male. He is a male palm tree. So
I didn't know there were male and female.
They're male
palm
and female,
trees.
right?
Interesting.
So they have a male tree. So at least we could crossbreed him with modern dates and get something close. Well, they kept at it, and they got 2 more female trees.
Oh boy.
So now, and the reason I'm bringing this up now is I was watching an article that last year and this year they produced dates.
Wow. Okay, because I was going to say, and I know, Max, I've already lost track of how many food references Allan has worked into Tool Talk Radio, but today we don't mind. But Allan, I'm just wondering, how long does a date tree, or is it a bush or it's a fern?
They're a tree.
How long would it normally take for something, if you planted a seed for it before it would start bearing fruit, so to say?
Yeah, about 10 years.
10 years?
About 10 to 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's got to mature. It's got to get to a certain size.
So they started this in 2005, and in the last couple of years, you can now actually go to the Institute, and they can hand you a Judean date, the date of the
King
Bible.
Herod would have eaten.
And exactly.
Wow.
And you can take a bite of it. And according to, and I'm really jealous. I'm watching the lady on the news.
Yeah.
Going, these things are delicious.
Well, I thought that the Middle East was well known for their, it's funny. When we look at it, we think of a lot of desert and all that. But apparently fruits and some of the vegetables were just off the chart. Like they said, the olives were great. And I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons it was an international trade center.
Exactly.
I mean, that's another thing to talk about. It's just, if I don't know what people's perception of ancient Jerusalem was, but it was like the Mecca. That was like New York of the day.
It was very busy.
It was rocking out there. We'll wrap this up when we come back. This stuff is fascinating, Allan. I got to admit. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, wrap up our discussion of the Jurassic Park in your garden, and then we're going to get to Maximilian's deep cut, the Baghdad Battery.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
You've got paper and you've got paint. A deadly combination! Let me show you.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
No, that's Allan's laboratory. He needs those flammables down there. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our pal Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And you can also go to the Facebook page, our our Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Give us a like. And I did go ahead and post the our Tool Talk Radio must-have item of the week, Alan. I kept my word, and let's face it, it takes 30 seconds to do it. It's not like it's not that big of a deal, folks. But hey, if you're the type that can't wait if you're the one that always wants those spoilers, if you're the person that gets on YouTube a week before the movie comes out because you have to know everything, well, you're right in there. You'll want to check out the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, and then you can even spread it around. Go viral with our must-have item of the week.
Oh, yes.
We don't care if you give out spoilers. So, hey, Alan, in a minute, we're going to wrap up our discussion with your Jurassic Park in the garden, and then we also want to get into Max's deep cut with the Baghdad Battery. Before we do that, though, I want to remind people, if you've got any roofing issues, oh boy, we're getting into rainy weather.
In that season.
We're going to get into possible snow. You never know. If you have snow sitting on your roof with a leaky roof, that's not a good combination, especially if it's followed by a bunch of rain that washes it away and all that. So this is the time to really pay attention. And if you've got roofing issues, you're going to probably want to address those sooner than later. Well, call the good people at Big M Roofing. When I say that, call Jay Hill. Call the owner direct. Go right to the top. You can call their office, but we suggest calling Jay mostly for the experience you get when you talk to Jay. Well, among other things, Alan, he's he's accredited with the Better Business Bureau. He's a GAF master installer. They're the seal of approval with the Good Housekeeping. They're highly rated. They give these lifetime transferable warranties to your roofing system, which is what they're installing. But the big advantage you get when you call Jay Hill is he is a former insurance agent, and there may be your roof repairs or your roof replacement may be covered by your homeowner's insurance, and you want to know that up front. That is kind of like the deal. That's a make or break sometimes for people.
Well, the roof is the single most important part of your home. Without it,
you got nothing.
Oh my gosh, the amount of damage and things that can go wrong is just we'll just say it's legendary.
Yeah, the roof is fundamental. You have to have, you can if the inside if your wall colors are not to your taste, you can live with that, but you can't live without with a bad roof. So get in touch with Jay. He can help you through that whole process. It's amazingly painless, honestly.
Yes.
And it'll probably happen quicker than you think. You might go from having a consultation with Jay to having your roof replaced. It could be within 2 weeks. Sometimes it's that fast. So get in touch with Jay. Call him directly at 901-484-5645. And go to bigmroofingandremodeling.com, and they'll hook you up. And the office number, I don't know if confusing people, but the other number you can call is 901-379-8184. But I always recommend calling Jay directly.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, he's a hoot. So, well, Alan, you were bringing us this story about not only, basically bringing back extinct plants. And I think that the magic with this is if you can find an old plant, or if you can find, what I'm wondering, Alan, is like some of these wood, like I'm thinking of these exotic woods from back in the day. And I'm wondering if with our technology today, they can find enough usable DNA to start growing some trees where I could make a table out of something, out of a wood that maybe went extinct 1,000 years ago or something.
Well,
So,
you are just not that far off track because of, all right, the Judean date palm seeds were in a jar, in a desert, in a dry, protected area. So, the oxygen
in Herod's tomb.
And basically in his old palace site, in basically a pantry.
Okay, gotcha.
But these things were really dried out and preserved. Fantastic. Well, another thing we're discovering in places like Siberia and Alaska and places where we've had permafrost, well, now as some of the glaciers are retreating, they're finding more and more interesting things. So in your case in point there have been actually a number of squirrel caches found. So
well, hey,
there's these things have been under ice.
Right.
These things have all kinds of nuts and seeds have been under ice for 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 years. And if we can bring back a date palm, can we bring back a type of evergreen that might have gone extinct during the last ice age?
Hey, you're making me think of something, Alan, because, my my last name is Thorderson. Right?
Yes.
Thorderson. It is, emphasis on the word Thor.
Thor.
We're from Iceland, but all the Iceland and, Iceland and Greenland and the Norwegian, we're all kind of kindred spirits. Well, you're making me think because in Greenland, there's glaciers, like you said, that are kind of retreating, and now they're exposing ground that we haven't seen in thousands of years.
Exactly.
Well, like you said, I might be able to make an Icelandic-based or an Icelandic-based wood table or something. That would be kind of cool.
Now, another thing they're discovering is of a lot of woods and stuff that were trapped in bogs that may be 10 or 15,000 years old and are still viable, good wood.
Yeah. Okay. What'd you say, Max?
Well, I was just kind of curious. This made me think an awful lot of that, like, biwa tree we talked about a while back, because, like, they had to, like, have a lot of regulations about, how much biwa you could cut down to make, like, bokken out of them, because people who are martial arts fans love their bokkens, and, like, to have something... To have like a bokken that was made out of the same wood as a legendary warrior like Musashi, and all of a sudden now they might have a higher quantity where it becomes a little less rare. It's really interesting.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, because a bokken is that's a martial arts staff, right, Max?
Martial arts sword.
Sword. Okay,
It's a wooden sword.
That's Max is into that stuff. He's actually a trained martial artist, so don't mess with him, folks. So that's interesting.
I will.
The possibilities here, Allan. It is getting pretty interesting.
Well,
so.
and the foodstuffs, and when your grandparents complain that the green beans in the can don't taste like the green beans they grew up with, they're telling the truth, because it might have been a local variety that now, with the companies paying attention to older varieties and heirloom varieties, the variations are starting to show up in the grocery store. And some of the variations, especially some of the rarer woods that we're looking at, with new propagation techniques and new preservation capabilities, and possibly even cloning capabilities, these things are going to be popping up. So, you might be making a chest out of rare zebra wood sometime soon, because it's, as Max said, now suddenly it's not quite so rare.
So here we go, Allan. Here comes my science fiction roots kicking in. Well, Allan, here's what I'm thinking about. So, okay, when it comes to wood and stuff, I'm not as opposed to it, because wood, I think, it's not the same as when you're eating something. I know that we've had advances in making food quicker to grow, and I'm all for helping feed starving nations and all that. So that's fine. That part, as long as the food is healthy and all that. But when I'm thinking of woods, I'm thinking, okay, well, let's suppose you pull up this ancient, like I said, oak tree that's been extinct for 1,000 years. Well, maybe you do a few tweaks to it. Maybe you want that oak to have a nice reddish hue, or maybe you want that oak to be to change the grain a little bit or something. Because I mean, if they can breed animals that way with tweaks, can't they do the same to?
We've been doing that to plants for 1,000 years, Joe.
Well, I'm just thinking of some of the cool, because I do wood turnings.
Right.
And so one of the things with me is there's some woods that are really beautiful, but they're very difficult to turn. Like I'm thinking of bloodwood.
Right.
It's the kind of thing where you're turning you're making your thing and you're almost done, and you get one little slip and a big chip comes out of it.
Right.
And you just undid all your work. So maybe making woods that are more suited to things like that. Maybe you make an oak that is a little softer than a normal oak, or I'm just thinking you probably could tailor make your own woods.
That would be a boutique plant. And we've been doing that. That is not new. With or without genetic manipulation, they have been crossbreeding and growing plants to make the modern varieties we have. Now everybody's kind of remembering, well, you remember that XYZ plant we used to have, and now a lot of the heirloom varieties are making a comeback because perhaps there is that tree you remember.
I think there's implications here beyond. It's funny, you gravitated towards the food applications.
Well, yeah.
I was gravitating towards the wood applications and everything. And I think Max is more just gravitating towards the bringing history back type of thing. So, but the implications are interesting, and it's going to be. I mean, imagine you go to Kroger and it's like, oh well, here's the King Herod's dates.
Exactly. I'm very jealous. I want to try one now.
We're in for an interesting future, folks. Well, you're in for an interesting future if you stick with us here at Tool Talk Radio on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. All right, Allan, we've monopolized the conversation enough. When we come back, we're going to let Max have a word in. He's going to do one of his deep cuts talking about the Baghdad Battery.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Did somebody say boom?
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Just another Friday night at Allan's
I
house.
say, those carefree childhood days.
Absolutely. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our buddy Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And, of course, we invite you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Give us a like. Send us pictures. I don't think we get enough of that. You know, I don't know why people don't want to brag about their home improvement adventures. I know people have been doing them during the pandemic. Everybody was fixing up their house, Allan.
I get pictures. They just make me promise not to put them on the air.
Oh, gotcha. Well, you get you get weird. You know, the stuff Allan gets, we don't want on the air, or we don't want on the Facebook page. Trust me. So, hey, Max, it's you've got another one of your deep cuts.
Yes, I do.
That sound effect. All right, talk to me.
So let's take a trip back in time. We were discussing the Middle East. Well, let's discuss the Middle East again.
Okay.
I'm bringing you all the Baghdad Battery. So back in 1936, archaeologists working for the Iraqi Antiquities Authority were excavating the Parthian site, or a little area where there was this a man named by the name of Wilhelm Koenig, and he discovered inside this Baghdad museum these interesting jars that dated back to the Parthian Empire, which is about 1st century AD. And these jars, they had they had copper that was sealed with asphalt, and then an iron rod that was also sealed with asphalt. And then it looks like there was this little area where you could fill this liquid, this acidic liquid inside there. And then it looked very much like a primitive battery, which nowadays we call the Baghdad Battery, which of course sparks a lot of controversy about what is it that this thing did.
Wow, interesting. Hey, Allan, Max, let me throw this at you too, because this is obviously in Allan's wheelhouse and everything, but I did want to revisit something we said earlier. You know, we were talking about like Jerusalem and the Middle East and everything, how it was it was like a Mecca. It had the latest in cutting edge technology and everything. I don't know that it's too far fetched to think that some inventor out there was toying around with electricity. I mean,
well, all right. Electricity has been around with us as long as we've had anything with fur anywhere near us on a cold night. You know, if you've
talking
ever
about static electricity,
if you've ever had the fuzzy socks on and reached over and grabbed that doorknob, you understand static electricity can have a pretty good pop.
Yeah.
So this, it's not new. Now, what do you do with it? Now, see, those are the ideas.
That's what I wanted to kind of get into is some of the, I don't want to claim to know what I don't want to claim to know what it did and everything, but I want to explain some of the professional theories, so to say. So one theory is that it was used for medicinal purposes because back in ancient times, electricity was actually used for sort of medicinal purposes. You go back to ancient Rome, the Roman Emperor Claudius, his personal physician, left a medical text that included instructions on how to treat gout. And one of them was using, I believe, was using an electric ray.
Wow.
Yeah, the torpedo ray. They would actually go stand on them.
Yeah.
I thought too,
and
Max.
If you didn't die, you were numbed to a lot of the pain that you were having. For a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought also you go to Target or something, and if you have lower back pain, they have these little pads that give off electrical pulses, right? And that's supposed to make your back feel better.
Let's jump forward to I don't know, people that aren't completely organic anymore, and
like you,
yeah, like me, and we have TINS machines.
Okay,
and a TINS machine is basically a 9-volt battery that you electrocute yourself with. You got the little pads that you attach to the muscle area that's sore, and you dial in the amount of electrical shock that you want to apply to the area, and it will actually make the muscles under your skin jump and wiggle and move. And it's a TENS machine. They have now reached such a level of comfort that you can now buy one on Amazon. You can buy them at home yourself. So the machine you're talking about for your back, Joe, you can get one for $49.99. And
yeah.
Can you electrocute yourself with them? No. Do they work? Do they help relieve pain? Do they help keep the muscles going and stuff like that? Yeah, that's it's great technology.
Well, Max, in your deep cut, because you said you're not sure, but you must have a suspicion what you think these were used for. So
I mean, I do have I don't really know if I have a suspicion. I just more like to explore the theories themselves because I wanted to get to another theory that I think you, Joe, would quite appreciate.
Okay.
I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, you would put these behind because I believe the Parthians were sort of polytheistic and everything. And so you put these behind the statues of one of your gods and everything. And it's if you're thinking of an action and everything and you touch the foot of the statue of the god and everything and you receive an electric shock, it's oh, wait, this god doesn't approve about what I'm about to do.
Or it's a good do not touch type of thing. So you're saying they would have created an electrical field around that.
It's possible. Or I'll throw you in another theory that terrorizes every museum director on the planet.
Is this India thing that you wanted to tell me about?
No, this could be the Baghdad Battery because it does work. It does generate electricity. How do I know? Because I've built one. It produces enough electricity to, do gold electroplating.
Wow. Okay.
So, some of those things that some of these museums think are solid gold might not be.
Huh. I'm just thinking, though, acidic fruit is used to conduct electricity, right? Okay. Well, they had plenty of that, right?
They had vinegar. They had, some sort of grape juice.
Simpler than that. Just grape juice. Just go with grape juice. Just work with me. Okay. Let's tell everybody what a Baghdad Battery is. A Baghdad Battery is nothing more than a ceramic pot. That's it. Just a little ceramic pot like you'd pour grape juice in or oil or olive oil. It was just a common everyday household item.
So the ceramic you don't get a shock when you touch that. You would get a shock when you touch the metal.
The ceramic works perfect because even in today's world, the ceramics are inert.
Right,
so
which is good, which is what you want. You don't want to be getting zapped when you're trying to work on this stuff.
Okay, copper. We know we've had copper around for thousands of years. We've had iron around for thousands of years. And then you just need something like some bitumen or some asphalt or a cork or something like that to keep things apart from each other. So to build a Baghdad Battery, all you need is a ceramic pot. You need a copper coil. You could go to, your big box store and get that 1-inch around copper pipe.
Yeah.
There you go. You need a cork or a stopper because you're going to put a little piece of iron rod, also available at your big box store, down the center of it so they don't touch. The idea is they can't touch each other.
Sure. I don't know.
Fill your copper, your terracotta pot with grape juice. Set the copper and the iron assembly down the middle of it, and you can actually hear it working.
Well,
it bubbles. It sounds like a battery.
Yeah, Max.
And if you connect it to the voltmeter, if you've got it set up right, it'll easily produce about half a volt.
Now, folks out there, if you do try this and for any reason you get injured or electrocuted, don't blame us. We can't pick up the bill.
This was purely for entertainment value only.
Yeah, I feel like I saw a kid in one of the science fairs doing this when I was in 7th grade or something. But Max, I'm thinking if we've got scientists, we've got historians and everything. I feel like they could construct something like this. They could use whatever materials were readily available back then and start using deductive reasoning to figure out what it is. I mean, has anybody, any big shots out there, posted why they think this? I feel like this is a deep dive on YouTube that you need to go down.
I mean, Mythbusters did a segment on the Baghdad Battery, but I don't really know of anybody else that scientists or archaeologists that kind of collaborated and did that.
Huh. I'm surprised you never did that, Al. I mean, that sounds like I know you
What do you
said
mean
you've
I
made
never
things
did
like
that?
that. Well, I think it's worth exploring. It
Because
sounds
I got news
interesting.
for you. You get about a dozen of those,
Yeah.
and you hook them together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you get about half a volt per battery. If you wire them up together correct, you can get up to 6 to 10 volts.
Sure.
And I got news for you. At 10 volts, that will rig a piezo alarm. It will light up a light bulb. And now with LED technology using micro voltage, you can light up a lot of LEDs.
Yeah.
So as something as simple, and I'm going to be goofy, I'm going to go to Dual Survival, the show.
Okay.
A Baghdad Battery, as a bizarre idea, could have been a fire starter.
Oh, now that's interesting.
Because when you touch the two little wires together, and this is, again, I'm not advocating doing this or even trying it at home, but, survivalists use a variety of materials that catch on fire very easily.
Right.
They use oils and cottons and a lot of times metal shavings, flour, nickel shavings, stuff like that burns really easily. A Brillo pad burns really
we
easily.
used that in Cub Scouts, Alan.
Yeah.
We used a flint where you make the sparks on a Brillo pad.
So
People,
you
if you're camping, bring some of that.
So
That's a
if
quick
you
way to
had,
start a fire.
a tallowed wick,
Yeah.
which has been around for thousands and thousands of years, you could sit around with your little battery, put the two little leads up to it, and touch, and you'd have a fire.
Okay, Alan, gosh, I got to admit, Max, because you had to have fire back then. Everybody, you had to have lamps. You had to have everything. Well, if you had a quick way to start fires, maybe you're in the town square, and that's the, you go there and you light your lamps and you light your thing. You just go up there, and I kind of like that one. You stick some hay on it or something.
Well, and I'm
going
going to tell you, the use was probably D, all of the above.
Yeah.
Because, if you think like an apothecary and you had like 24 of these together, that's 12 volts.
Yeah.
That'll run a car.
It's funny how Alan.
So,
It's funny how Alan didn't mention that these might also be a useful torture device for your enemies trying to exact information out of there. I like that you kept things above the fray, Alan.
No,
That's good.
I mean, you'd take too many of them. You'd have to have like about 48 of those things to get enough voltage to really get somebody's attention.
And the question is, how do you know this, sir? That's the.
Let's just leave it to scientific curiosity.
Well, Max, can you do a follow up on this? I don't know. I feel like this is interesting. We're really going into ancient times today, but it's interesting because I still think there's ramifications for today.
Oh
So.
yes.
All right. Well, hey, Alan, hour one is in the can, but when we come back to hour two, we are going to be modern day. In fact, we're going to have a guest joining us, Meredith Fernandez from the Vesta Home Show. She's one of the designers that designed the home Frizzy Friday. Can't wait to hear about
can't
that.
wait.
You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar Memphis. We'll be right back.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allen.
And welcome to hour two of Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our buddy Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And you can also go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, give us a like, check out our must-have item of the week, which we're going to get to momentarily, Alan. So, and also, Alan, I've been a little remiss. In the first hour, I forgot to mention a crucial bit of information for those people that may have overslept or people that missed any part of Tool Talk Radio. They're probably crying into their coffee saying, oh my gosh, I missed that fascinating discussion about the Baghdad Battery. It's gone. I'll never be able to hear it again. Well, you have good news for them, right, sir?
I do. I have
Boy, what a
magnificent
softball
news
that
for
was.
them. Yeah.
Okay.
You just throw that up in the air a little higher there, Joe. I tell you what, all they got to do is go over to tooltalkradio.com. They can catch up on all of our past episodes. And the big news there is you can click on that Spotify button and you can just take us with you and binge all you want.
Yeah, Spotify is a great platform. It is. I think it's one of my favorites. It's easy to listen to, and what I like too, Allan, is you can create your own library. So if you want to have just strictly Tool Talk Radio or our other show, Geek Tank Radio, make your own library.
And our cousin, the Motor Mouse.
Motor Mouse, absolutely.
All of us are there on Spotify.
All the Saturday morning fun. Put it over there on Spotify and binge to your heart's content.
Indeed.
So, all right, Allan, in the next segment, we're going to bring our friend on, Meredith Fernandez. She's an interior decorator interior designer from one of the Vesta Homes, which is the Vesta Home Show is going on this weekend. That's going to be fascinating. And Allan, please don't turn this into a 3-segment thing about the kitchen. I already know where your mind's at. You want to learn all about this kitchen. It's nice. We'll get to that, but I'm gonna have to bring them in. Max, be ready to hit the dump button if he starts monopolizing the conversation. Anyway, Allan, hey, I'm holding up something for our must-have item of the week. Tell people what I've got here.
A small plastic thing.
You
something
can't
metal
see.
in it.
Okay.
Yes. Well, what you have there is actually a drill bit.
Yeah, not just a drill bit, folks. This is a 6-inch carbide hammer drill bit. Now, there are there's a hammer drill.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you have to use this on a hammer drill. You can use this on a regular. The reason I have this is for drilling through concrete and brick. And the reason it's the 6-inch, Allan, okay, there's a lot of features on this one that I want to distinguish. So this is if you're drilling through concrete, the bits look a lot different than than a regular drill bit. The top has this sort of almost shovel quality to it, right, Allan? So but the thing about this is it's got a carbide tip because, folks, if you're ever drilling through brick or mortar, it wears out fast. I mean, if you get this is one of these where I'm going to say spend the extra $3 or $4 to get the good thing because if you're going to wind up spending, if you're going to drill through a bunch of brick, let's suppose you're putting up shutters or something like that. Well, if you got to put up 15 or 20 shutters, you're gonna if you get the less expensive bits, you're gonna probably buy 6 or 7 of them because they wear out that
easily.
Fast. The reason I get the 6-inch bit though, Allan, is for one thing, if you're drilling through the brick, you need that because the brick, you've got the thickness of the brick, you got to get way in there, and so I mean.
And the one thing people don't realize, especially with concrete and brick both, is densities will vary.
Right.
From unit to unit. So you might drill through a couple of bricks pretty easily, and then you're going to hit the solid one. It is just going to it'll eat a cheap drill bit up.
Or if you're drilling through mortar and or concrete, and it's going smooth, and all of a sudden you hit that rock. And you're stuck, and you spend 5 minutes trying to get through that. And the other reason I like this particular drill bit, Allan, is it's got a hex. Okay, it's not round,
right?
Where you stick it into the chuck. It's got a hex shape, so it's not going to just spin on you. It's not going to strip. It's good. And so, when it comes to a cement drill bit or a concrete bit, we are all proponents of spending the extra few bucks to get the good one. And the longer, the better, because usually you've got a lot to drill through. So,
well, there's kind of a cheap little trick. Measure down exactly how far you need something to go in.
Yeah.
Then you can just take your Sharpie and put the little line on it, and when you reach the line, you're done. You can just recess your drill bit.
Okay. All right. So that's, in fact, I even used this. I used one of these this week, and it's funny, Allan. I bought 2 of them because I had to drill. Oh man, I don't even know how many holes I had to drill through this week into the brick, and I bought 2 just in case the first one wore out. Well, the first one by the end of the job was still hanging in there, so I didn't even take this one out of the package. So, I'm just a big proponent. Sometimes, what's the saying, Max? It only takes a little more to go first class. We live by that. Well, not the way I dress, obviously, but in a lot of ways, we appreciate that adage. So, and in fact, you know who else I think appreciates that adage? The people at the Vesta Home Show.
Oh, yes.
The West Tennessee Home Builders Association. This is their Super Bowl, I would say, week, but it's a 3-week operation. The Vesta Home Show.
It is a marathon.
It is. I don't know how they do it. This is a lot of pressure. I wouldn't want to be in charge of this, Allan. We run a once-a-year convention for a weekend, and that's a lot of work. I can't imagine what it takes
That's
to
6 months worth of work just for 2 days.
Build four or 5 houses on a deadline with all these people that are going to be going. I don't know. There's a lot of logistics to work out. So what's cool is we've got a guest coming in the next segment. Meredith Fernandez. She's an interior designer, and she helped design one of the homes at the Vesta Home Show. We're going to get the behind the scenes look at this thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody stay tuned. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Call Poison Control if you're bit by a spider. But check that it's covered by your healthcare provider.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yeah, Allan, because if it's not covered by your insurance, just lay there and wait till you die, right? I mean, I don't know that I can go with that advice, but anyway.
All right. You do not get superpowers by being bitten by a spider.
Absolutely.
I don't care what the movie said.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our pal Max behind the glass. You can give us a call or text at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. You can actually interact with us there. If you send a message, I mean, I got my phone sitting right here, Allan. We'll answer in real time.
Do our best.
Yeah, because you may want to find out about the Vesta Home Show, which we're about to discuss.
Oh, yes.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're about to introduce a special guest. Before we do that, though, Allan, I want to introduce somebody else. He's got a impossible to spell last name, Mike Sarafolian, but he has a very easy to remember business name, Tri-State Interiors. Well,
indeed.
Let's face it, folks. If you're remodeling your kitchen or bathroom, that is a big decision. And there are, I've talked to people that are in the middle of that process, and they've gotten a few quotes. And the quotes can vary by thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. So what Mike's approach is, which I appreciate, is his main focus is on the craftsmanship of the project. He wants that to be top notch, but he also wants to keep his overhead low, because at the end of the day, that's what saves people money. So
it is. And
staying high tech. So it all kind of works together. And so if you want to go ahead and get a kitchen or bathroom remodeled, one of the funnest parts of the whole thing is, Allan, these 3D renderings that they do. That's part of the whole design thing. Tell us about that.
Well, I tell everybody, if you're thinking about over the next year, I know a year from now sounds like a long time away. Honestly, it is not.
No.
Especially if you're getting into renovations. So go ahead and call Mike and have him come out and give you a 3D render of the scope of the job. So if you're going to do a bathroom or you're going to do a kitchen, these are the most disruptive things you can do in your home, but they're also the most bang for the buck.
Sure. That's how you improve the value of your home.
Right. If you're going to take out a wall, maybe the dining room and the living room doesn't work for you anymore. Now you want that nice, great room. Okay, well, go ahead and get that 3D rendered. And now, do you want to see it with a dark floor or maybe a light floor? Would you like to see it with the granite countertops? Maybe you want to see it with the marble countertops. Now it's very simple to do. It's honestly the click of a mouse.
Right.
And you get to look at it right there. And you got time to think about it and time to worry about it. And then when you make your decision, you're ready to pull the trigger. Here's the best thing about Tri-State. They do not start until the last piece that they need to do your job is in stock.
Yeah, they order all the components. They order the cabinets, all the hardware, everything, and they make sure it's in their warehouse, and then they start. We've been on those jobs where they start
Joe,
something.
you and I have had so many nightmares where you can't finish because that toilet won't be here for 6 more weeks.
Right. Well, it's better to do that not
You're
find
better
yourself
to wait
in that situation.
and get it all done at one time. And the other thing I want to point out with Tri-State is they're very popular and they're busy. And this is good for you because they're ready to get in, get your project done, do it to the absolute highest quality, and they're ready to move on to the next guys. They're not moving in with you. They are there to get your job finished.
And they have a big service area. They're called Tri-State Interiors for a reason. They serve a large part of basically, if you can hear us on our 100,000 watt broadcast tower, you're in their service area. So give them a call, Mike Serafolian, tease him about his last name, because I think his name's harder to spell than my last name, Allan. So
I think it's a toss-up.
Anyway, give him a call at 901-409-1333 or go to tristateinteriorsllc.com. All right, Allan, this is interesting. I met our guest last week at the Vesta Home Show, Meredith Fernandez. Well, Meredith, welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if you're thanking us in 20 minutes. No, hey, Meredith, one of the reasons we wanted to bring you in is because, well, the Vesta, for one thing, we're big supporters of the West Tennessee Home Builders Association. Big shout out to Kennette Keogh, great lady, but they do great work, and they're always hosting, events throughout the year, and they're really good with networking people in the trades and getting people getting you exposure and everything. But this Vesta Home Show, I don't know, man. It just seems like a lot of pressure. It's a great thing for us, the people that get to go there. But what is it like being involved with the Vesta Home Show?
It's a lot of work. The deadline is probably the hardest thing to meet, just because it's a lot of house to build. These houses were all... Like our house that we built was 7,400 square feet. It's a huge house to put up in such a small amount of time. So we started with the plans back in January, and here we are in November with a completed 7,400 square foot house, which is not realistic. Nobody else can get a house built that fast.
No, but so folks, if you're listening outside of Memphis, so basically the Vesta Home Show is each year it's in a different location. You more or less pull into, a lot of times you'll pull into like a cove or a little subdivision, and they'll have 4 or 5 homes that they built, and we're not kidding. You can smell the paint sometimes. They just built these homes. They're always state of the art. They're really they're beautiful homes, and a lot of people go there partly because it's a competition, but also they go there because it's a great place. Like Allan said earlier in the show, to steal good ideas. If you're thinking of decorating or redoing your home, it is a great place to get the latest in what's going on in a home decoration, right? So
absolutely. The technology is state of the art. The movie theaters, the media rooms are amazing. Everything. The appliances, if you're looking for new appliances, it's a great place to shop for that. Tile, flooring, the hardwood flooring, everything is new, state of the art. The draperies, the upholstery, it's all kind of the latest and greatest styles of everything.
So you're a designer, so you worked, I guess, with the architect. So how does like you talked about the deadline, I'm thinking that's got to be nerve-wracking, because this is going to open when it opens, and if you don't have this house built, I can't imagine the pressure. But so you said January you're starting to work with the architect and get this house ready to go, right? So
correct. So we had our final plans finished in about February. We were finally done with our final plans and ready to break ground.
Really? Gosh, this all seems really fast, Allan.
Yeah, I'm just sitting looking at this going, the fact that you started in January, your paperwork was all done in February.
Yeah, for a 7,400 square foot house, right? So, okay. So now,
how much coffee? How much coffee is involved in this? Because that's just astounding.
It takes a lot, but as long as you have a great team behind you, it's totally doable. So Darren Halford was the builder on the house that I did. He's an amazing builder. He's a great person in general, just easy to get along with. And he has to be a problem solver, because there's constantly a problem. And
there's a lot of critical
thinking. He's the man in
this.
charge of all that. So, as long as you have a great team with you, you can achieve it.
Okay, so how did you get involved? How does your company wind up at the Vesta?
So Darren Halford actually built my personal house 6 years ago.
Okay.
We're friends as well, outside of him being a builder and us working together. So he asked me, he said he was going to do a Vesta house. I kind of prodded him, said I would be interested if he came around to do one. And so when he decided to do one, he gave me a call.
Okay, because that's what I'm wondering. Obviously, you're putting yourself through a lot of pressure, especially if you're the builder. I guess I'm wondering the payoff for that. Is it because of the exposure? And I know there's a competition. You want to win as well, right? So,
Of course, you don't do it if you don't want to win.
Okay. Well, that's what I guess that's what I'm wondering. Is it good exposure for companies that get involved? Because it must be, right?
It's great exposure. It's a chance for, generally speaking, the interior designer gets to do what they want to do. They have a blank slate, and they get to go run with it and give all of their best ideas. Ours was slightly different in that it was pre-sold when we were still just a lot, when we were still just dirt back in January.
Oh, my goodness.
So our house, Fizzy Friday, was actually designed for our clients. So that is more of our clients' taste as opposed to just, what Darren and I would have done had we been given a great blank slate. But it turned out amazing.
Is that why?
We love everything about it.
Is that why you walk in and the first thing you see in the den is a pool table? Because it's cool, but I'm like, this is not the normal direction you would get. And the Fizzy Friday does have a fun vibe in there, Alan. I noticed it immediately.
All right, I'm dying to know. Fizzy Friday?
Yeah, what is that? There's got to be a story.
It's an entertaining house for sure. The clients used to always they came from Florida, from the Miami area, and every Friday they would have the moms over for Prosecco. And the dad would take all the kids outside in the backyard and play with the kids while the moms sat around and drank their Prosecco or champagne. So they dubbed it Fizzy Friday.
Awesome.
So they wanted to bring a little bit of Miami here and have some Fizzy Fridays.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's absolutely awesome.
Because like I said, normally these homes, they have very formal sounding names. Like it's such and such estate or such and such manor or something. But I kind of dig that. But I knew when you told us it was called Fizzy Friday, I'm like, okay, well, there's definitely a story behind that. So the I don't know. That's
I'm down.
Is it forever going to be known as that, or is it only really known as that during the Vesta show? Or
I think that's a name that's going to stick. I mean, it's so unusual. How could you not remember
that one's going to hang in there.
People are going to be like, oh, yeah, that was Fizzy Friday.
I'm just picturing some really cool landscaping and all that to go with that name. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. So, but hey, Meredith, we're gonna have a break in a second. But when we come back, we want to find out about we're talking about all the it's over, it's built now, so it's all fun and games. But we want to hear about the drama and all of the all of the things that happened leading up to this. Because man, like you said, Alan, February to November, that's not quick. A lot of time. That's a fast turnaround. So you're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to continue our visit with Meredith Fernandez from the Vesta Home Show.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Oh, I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Max, I showed up at Allan's house when he had that deflector shield activated, and it's all fun and games till you get that 220-degree shock, but Allan, I don't know, man. Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV, and our pal Max behind the glass, and our special guest, Meredith Fernandez. With M. Fernandez Interiors. So she's a interior designer who helped put together one of the Vesta Homes this week and going till December 12th is the Vesta Home Show of 2021, which is great that it kept going. They actually didn't miss it. I don't even think they missed 2020. They kept rolling, but the Vesta Home Show, for those of you outside of the Memphis area, it is a big deal once a year. It's a great place to get ideas for the latest in home decor and technology and everything. Good. Oh,
all right. Well, I was just going to throw in. I was going, as we look at her, before we dive into the full Vesta, I wanted to throw out the question. Okay, why do I need an interior designer? What do you do? What? A lot of people may not know. They hear the terms, right, but they're not sure what we do exactly.
Well, there's a decorator.
You say plumber, electrician, everybody's kind of got it. But interior designer, what do you do?
Your home you're going to spend the most money on your home. It's the biggest thing that you will ever buy in your lifetime, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
it should be exactly what you want. It should function the way you want it to function, and it should look the way you want it to look. So in order to get a complete, cohesive, finished home, it's always important to have a professional involved. And that's where we come in to make sure your draperies are just the way you want them, your bedding is perfect. But not only that, just the functionality of your home and making sure that it fits your lifestyle and the way that you live and the way you move about your home on a daily basis.
So you're in charge of home ergonomics.
That's right.
Awesome.
Because there's also so many, like we said, every year there's new developments in technology, there's new products, or there's new options. Last week, I think, Meredith, we were sitting there talking about flooring, pre-finished hardwood flooring. Just that alone is sort of a newer technology. And, I mean, you could spend $2 a square foot or $20 a square foot, depending. And that's just one part of the home. So you help navigate all of that, right? So.
Absolutely. And they've come a long way with the pre-finished hardwood floors. And they're awesome, especially for renovation, because it is a lot less mess. You don't have all that sawdust and sanding going on in your house.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the pre-finished hardwood flooring. So, but Meredith, I think it's funny because I was talking to you yesterday about this, and you and I have similar challenges. And I guess since Allan brought it up, we should talk about that. The bidding process is interesting, especially. So basically, my bidding is usually because I do patio covers or screened-in porches or decks or things like that. And usually, right out of the gate, I like to get the budget discussion right out of the way. Like, what is your budget for this? Because in the old days, I didn't do that, Allan, and I found that it made the project, it didn't make it go as smoothly.
Oh, no.
Or maybe you're not on the same page as the homeowner. But if you get that discussion out of the way early, then everybody has realistic expectations. You might actually exceed their expectations if you know what they can spend.
Absolutely. I mean, I think having a realistic budget and being honest with yourself and what you can really spend. I know it's hard to get people to give that up because they're afraid then that means you're going to spend it all. But what it means for me is that I can go and source things and find things for you that you might not otherwise ever know existed or to ever see or think that you can afford. And if you just give me a realistic budget, I can make it work and you can get exactly what you want. And you don't have to pay attention to each itemized item and realize that that one item cost more than you were willing to spend on that one item because we made it still fit in the total budget. It's not always just about that one item, but that one item could be what puts your room or your home over the top.
Yeah. I'm thinking, too, it's probably you got to sit down with them and get like a priority list. Like, okay, how important is the countertops versus the flooring versus the lighting and all the other? And plus, what is the easiest to change? To me, I would think flooring is a really important decision because you're not going to be changing that all the time. So maybe that's more of a focus than the lighting because lighting could be changed. I don't know, but.
Right. Lighting is something easy to change. Always go trendy, go fun, have fun with it, do exactly what you want because it's so simple to change that out. It's not a big deal to have an electrician out to change a light fixture.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, redoing that bathroom.
That's a challenge. You don't want to have to redo tile.
You don't want to do that every 5 years.
No.
Right.
Go classic.
Okay, so in a normal scenario, you have the people come in, you sit down, you have consultations, you're weighing the pros and cons, you're working out the process. Well, let's shift to the Vesta situation now. So, okay, now
that's in the ideal world.
It's a competition. It's a very public. Your work is going to be seen by everybody. It's the fact that it's going to be seen on TV. They bring the news trucks through there. You'll be on radio shows talking about that. Imagine that. So. Now what happens? This is what we want to hear about. First of all, I don't even know how you do this in 9 months, but talk to us about that.
It's a lot. Like I said, it takes an entire team to pull it off. The subs get stressed out too. I mean, it's a lot of work for them, and they're trying to manage their schedules along with their regular clients that are not necessarily on a timeline, but they also want their house finished too, but everybody keeps hearing about this Vesta house that has to be finished. So it does, there's an added stress. And sometimes things don't work out the way you wanted,
Well, we want to hear about that. That's I want to hear the drama, but okay.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is, you may have 5 or 6 different contractors, each performing a different function, and sometimes they domino and sometimes they don't. So describe that dance of, since you're the interior designer, that means you're basically the foreman of this.
Well, the contractor is definitely the foreman, but we're there to help wherever we can. It's interesting because normally in a normal home build, you wouldn't have all of your subs on hand in one day, and you're literally on some days you have 10 different trades. I mean, you have landscapers out there, you have plumbers, you have electricians, you have the painters, you have the AV guys. Then you've got the interior design people in there. You've got wallpaper hangers. I mean, you've got everybody on, all hands on deck the entire time. It's a lot of people to trip over.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm just thinking, like you said, with their schedules, because I've worked on new construction before, Allan, and if you want to know the truth, I kind of got away from it because of exactly what you said. I might show up, and I was expecting my area to be ready. Well, the electrician has to come back and rewire something, and now my whole day just got shot, and I have to reschedule. So there is a lot of juggling, and then especially with basically having 9 months to do this, I can't imagine it. So.
Well, that was our problem with the original wallpaper installer that I had, was that he couldn't handle that he wasn't on the job alone and that he didn't have his own space, and people kept moving his stuff, and he didn't like when people touched his stuff. Which, I mean, I understand. Everybody in this trade is it's their trade, that's their art.
Right.
And they want their art to be their art, and they don't want anybody stepping on their space or their toes. So we got a little feisty. So we had to, a week before the show, we had to let him go.
Oh, okay. We won't name names or anything, but so suddenly you've got wallpaper treatments that have to go up, and you're without a wallpaper hanger. Well, what did you do, Meredith? I mean, hopefully somebody stepped forward, right?
Yes, I made a lot of calls, and I had a great wallpaper installer come in and come to my rescue.
Okay. Well, we can give them a shout out, right, Allan? I mean, that's...
Yeah,
we don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but if we want to sing somebody's praises.
I'll stand Jared up and say thank you to Spicer Wall Coverings.
Absolutely. Thank you to Jared and Spicer Wall Coverings. He was amazing, and he came in, finished the last bathroom the day before the doors opened.
Okay.
That's quick. So, all right, so the doors are opening. How panicked are you? How running through the building are you at this point?
I didn't sleep much that week. You can ask my husband. He'll attest to that. I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and at one point, our own house was under renovation. So I was like, where am I? Because we're sleeping in our son's room. And I'm like, where am I? What's going on?
Wait a minute. So you chose the Vesta show to do your... Okay. She is a glutton for punishment. Holy smokes.
Well, mine wasn't by choice. Mine was a water leak that happened.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's what I was thinking about. I'm just thinking, Allan, you're trying to coordinate this. And really, when you get down to the finishing work, that's all on your shoulders. That's the builders have done their job, and now you're trying to do yours, and suddenly you're without contractors. And I mean, we are in the middle of this supply chain issues and everything else. I don't know, Meredith. Lots of coffee, I'm thinking, right? Lots of caffeine.
Lots of coffee. Like I told Darren Halford, the builder, I told him, I said, well, you built us a great home. You built us a great house. Now it's my turn to turn it into a home.
Okay, cool.
So,
yeah, well, we're gonna dive into that, because I think there is a difference. I mean, there's a reason why you walk into some homes and they have that vibe and they have that look about them, and that's what we're gonna find out. That's the work that Meredith Fernandez does with her interior designing. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Salt water will warp the wood, so keep your tears in your eyes where they belong.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yeah, man up, Allan. No need for tears. So I bet Meredith was feeling some tears. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV, and our pal Max behind the glass. And our special guest, Meredith Fernandez, with Meredith Fernandez Interiors. You can give us a call or text at 901-683-0989 on the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline. Or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like And also, if you missed any of our shows or any of our past shows, never fear, you can check us out on Spotify when Allan gets around to loading up the episodes. No, you've been pretty good about it, Allan. They're usually
they've been going
within
up
24
on time
hours,
these days.
Okay, Allan, you're getting a lot of texts. So what's
Yeah, apparently
what's the verdict
Max is
today?
growing some fans here. Everybody's liking his Baghdad Battery. So
Okay.
lots of folks saying great show, and at least 2 people want me to now build them one. So
Oh yeah, it's funny the topics that get traction, and I guess Meredith's getting her phone keeps lighting up. Meredith, you're gonna have to stay focused. Everybody's texting you, right? So, well, once again, Allan, off the air is when we get the best content.
it does.
So Meredith is sitting there. If you're just tuning in, Meredith is one of the. She's an interior designer who worked on one of the Vesta Home Shows. The name of the home is called Fizzy Friday.
Awesome.
Because I guess the homeowner
Champagne.
likes to booze it up, right? So something like that on Fridays with the family. But no, it's champagne. Something. I don't know.
yeah.
They're from Florida. What do you expect? Anyway, but off the air, Meredith, you told us, because we're talking about the pressure of building a 7,000 square foot home in 9 months from start to finish. And so basically the builder finishes the home, all the contractors are done. And then you said they hand the keys over to you. I'm thinking, well, probably back in like September, they hand the keys over to her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
When did they hand you the keys so you could do your work?
Monday, November 15th, and the show opened on the 19th.
So you had 4 days to basically take an empty home and finish it, right?
Absolutely.
I don't like that timeline. I would be.
Oh my gosh.
Is that what everybody's working up? I mean, I thought you'd have like a month or two to do this, but.
It's pretty typical. This year was a little more rushed, even for some of the interior designers that have done it in the past. They said they had less time this year. It was just.
Oh my goodness.
It was a big rush this year. The homes were much bigger than in years past, and took a little bit longer to build them.
Okay, what does that look like? Because, Allan, this year, the subdivision that they built in, there's still new homes being built as we speak. There's mud. There's, you've got these beautiful homes, but next door to it, you have a lot where a home is being built. So what did that look like, Meredith? Pulling all these trucks into a cove and trying to work around all the other homes getting ready?
It was like Tetris with your car.
That's awesome.
So every time the spot opened up, you had to figure out how to slide your car in sideways to get around the next car.
Oh man, did it get cutthroat at any point? Did any I'm just thinking of the drama there.
It was rough, some people had a few new dents in their car. My builder, for one, found a new dent in his car once he scrubbed the dirt off.
Really?
So it happens.
You think of the Vesta Home Show as this very civilized and very, dignified event, and yet behind the scenes, it sounds like it's Mad Max or something.
It's a stirred up ant nest. So.
Yeah. So I'm thinking those 4 days, really, you must have just been at that house day and night, right?
Oh, yes. Day and night. I did not leave that house before midnight at any night that week.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's funny because I was when I met Meredith at the home show last week, Allan, I felt like you were still working on it. You were walking around the home, and I'm guessing you were still adjusting things even then, right?
Yes, in fact, I still have some art in my house that's finally arrived that still needs to go on the wall, but it's not open on Monday, so I'll probably sneak it in and hang it up on Monday.
I don't know.
Act like it's been there all this time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So come back, because just because you were here in the beginning doesn't mean it hasn't changed before it's over.
Yeah, it's so people, when you're walking through the Vesta Home Show, just keep in mind what it took to put this together, because that is a lot of pressure, and they do it every year. I mean, hats off to them.
Okay, so give us a quick walk through the house. All right, what are the highlights? What are the big points that are just going to slap us? All right, we already know about the pool table.
Yes, so we have a pool table in our formal living room, what would be a formal living room.
That is just awesome.
But it has a massive sliding door unit, so the whole wall opens to the giant back patio for entertaining. Ooh. So it's perfect. You go from the swimming pool and hanging out by the pool during the day to just flowing right in through the giant sliding open wall into the billiard room or the lounge, as you want to call it, and play a little bit of pool and darts. We have a built-in fish tank, which is different. Nobody else has a fish tank.
Oh, I didn't know that was built in. Very nice.
So we have a custom built-in fish tank.
Well, it's got a real open feel to it, which I like, because it sounds like it's designed for a family that does a lot of entertaining, but it sounds like they probably have a lot of fun together, right? So
Yeah, so they also wanted their media room downstairs. So they know that once you put the pool table in the media room upstairs, the party is divided because not everybody's going to move upstairs. So,
Right.
And besides the drinks are downstairs because that's where the bar is.
We got
It's where the kitchen is, where the food is. It's where the heart of the home is. So if you keep everything close to the kitchen, the party will go all night.
It's funny you're saying this, because I'm thinking, Allan, with a home like this, every home has its own unique, emphasis. There may be some people that don't want the party to be down. They may want the media room upstairs because their lifestyle is different. But this sounds like you're almost an event planner as well, right? I mean, you got to take that into account when you're designing this place.
Yeah, I mean, they were a fun family to design for because they do love to entertain, and they did want all of these fun things incorporated into the design of the home. So it was a lot of fun to work with them.
And they got Fizzy Friday. I don't think I've heard a home with a name like that before. So,
well, now I'm just dying to go see this now. See, you got to cheat and go early. So, all right. So take us upstairs. What's going on up there? We got the party rooms downstairs.
Upstairs is quiet. It's the kids' rooms, 2 kids' rooms, and a bonus room. So, of course, there is the AV closet, which is the brains of the house. So that's a pretty cool closet to step into.
All right, awesome. Now, there's an AV closet. Now, that is a truly modern idea. So, basically, they have a command center.
Yes.
Where all the electronics to their home are contained and controlled.
It doesn't look, it's not unlike
awesome.
the command center we got here. And honestly, Allan, it was like a smaller version of what we got in the next room over there. With
got a little computer rack and all the goodies going. And that is, all right, and ladies and gentlemen, I just got to tell you, that's how it's going to be.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to have house batteries and solar, and we're going to have all of these new technologies that are just going to be prevalent. 10 years from now, no one's going to build a house without an AV area or without a battery area or something like that.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So then you don't have 800 wires underneath your TV set and all that.
It allows you to have that TV hanging on the wall and it's clean, and you don't have all of these cords, wires, and boxes hanging around.
No, it's cool. I'm still amazed though with all the drama that goes on there. So people, if you want to check out the Vesta Home Show, we highly recommend it. Like we said, it's a great place to get ideas for your home. The website's kind of hard to remember, Allan. I'm just going to say Google Vesta Home Show 2021, and you're going to get. They'll take you right there.
And it literally came straight up. You can click right on it. It's the West Tennessee Home Builders Association's website. So,
which is a long name. That's why I'm like, just go to that. And so, Meredith, your the Fizzy Friday is at the end of the cove. I will say you guys got a great lot too. It looks like it's about 2 acres, but what I like is it's up against kind of a forested area, which is cool.
Yeah, we have the only mature trees on the street, which is awesome. So we also have the only mom's house, the only in-laws suite or guest house, as you want to call it.
The mother-in-law wing.
Mother-in-law wing.
Goodness.
So that's where they cram
free
mother-in-law
babysitting
during Frizzy Friday.
Yeah,
right.
Friday.
And free babysitting. So.
Yeah.
Not bad. So, hey, I wanted to mention something. It's on topic, but it's off topic a little, Allan. But anyway, you said something when we were talking yesterday about lighting, because we're always preaching about lighting and making sure you don't undersell. Lighting is such a huge factor with the design of a home, and you apparently are really passionate about lighting as well. And you said something to me yesterday about making your home look as good in the evening as it does in the daytime. So talk about lighting in your design.
Lighting is huge. Lighting can either make you or break you. Cheap lights are going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I always tell my clients is, now that we're moving into the LED world, check your Kelvins on your light bulbs, because we don't want to roll into Exxon. So if you get your Kelvin above 3,000 Kelvins, your home is going to either look like the hospital or it's going to look like the Exxon service station.
It's very subtle, right? I mean, you got to have the right, because there's some lighting that does. It has that. It has that. Cold
So you're not advocating my 5,000 lumen.
I'm not.
No, you're
I'm
not.
not.
Oh my gosh,
I had a client that we spent a lot of money on her lighting plan, and I came into her house and I forgot to tell her which light bulbs to buy, and she had changed all of her light bulbs to LEDs.
Yeah.
And all of her walls looked blue.
Right.
And I was like, we've got to change these light bulbs.
Yeah. No, but it is a big deal. And there's so many options. There's really no reason to get it wrong these days, right? I mean,
well, as with everything else, it is going to be your personal taste.
Yes.
And also, I'm going to throw in the end effect that you're looking for.
Yes.
Of if you have a work or craft room, you may want those gargantuan, you could land an aircraft light bulb so you can see what you're doing. But in your media room, you want nice, soft mood lighting so you can watch the television, so you can watch, well, I don't even think it's a TV anymore. It's more of a computer interactive center these days.
Sure. Yeah. Your projector or whatever. So,
well, my station's on Roku, so we're technically not a broadcast TV channel, so you interface with us, but it's through the big screen on the wall.
Absolutely. So Meredith, you're heading to the Vesta show right when you get out of here, right? So
I am. Come see us today.
Okay. Well, how do people get in touch with you when they want to have a nice
when it's calmer
with a reasonable deadline and a reasonable process? How do they get in touch with you if they want help with interior design?
They can reach me through Instagram. So it's M Fernandez Interiors on Instagram, or you can call my cell phone. I'm reachable by my phone, as well as my website, which is mfernandezinteriors.com.
Okay. You want your cell phone number out there?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. Well, then why mention it?
Go to my website, please.
All right.
Yeah. Go to my website or Instagram.
Just edit that out. Anyway, hey, we'll be seeing you over there, Meredith. Thanks for dropping in. But
Thank you.
We're out of time, guys, so we got to get out of here. So you've been listening to another wide-ranging and action-packed episode of Tool Talk Radio. So on behalf of my friend Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass and our pal Meredith Fernandez, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.